Hey everyone, this is Carolina Weather Authority meteorologist Joshua Nagelberg with the latest on the tropics, and things are ramping up very quickly. And if you're enjoying our videos and have friends who would like to see these as well, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and have your friends do so as well, as we are now heading into the very busiest part of a hyperactive 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. Also, we'll have articles for you here. I'll have another article for you guys coming up here today for you to read about our latest thinking on the tropics. And what we are looking at right now is the potential for, on this map I've got 3, but actually 4 named storms between now and the end of August. The next 4 on the list are Laura, Marco, Nana, and Omar. So we could be into the O's and P's by the beginning of September here. And that would again keep us on pace to be the most active season on record. We'll see if that's going to continue to be the pace, but at least over the next couple of weeks I expect things are going to be busy. And what we are looking at here is if you're on the Gulf Coast, Southeast Coast, in the Caribbean, you are at threat of at least 1, if not 2, hurricanes, which could potentially be major hurricanes at some point here, probably in about 2 to 3 weeks from now. So things are about to get extremely busy, and I'm going to tell you why in just a little bit here. So on the map from the National Hurricane Center, we've got Josephine, which is now weakened to a tropical depression and probably will be getting sheared to bits here in the next day or two. Expected to track up towards Bermuda. Maybe it tries to redevelop up in here, but at that point, not a threat to anyone, just a fish storm. Now, over the next 5 days, things do get more active in our main development region. We've got a wave which will be entering the Caribbean Sea here in about 2 days, and in about 5 days, we do think it could develop somewhere between Honduras and Jamaica, and that's going to be something we need to keep an eye on in the Gulf of Mexico, Northwest Caribbean, maybe even Florida and up the East Coast, depending on what happens. And then the one behind it, I'm going to show you here, could be a bigger threat a little bit farther north and east. Could be a Gulf storm and could also be a southeast or an East Coast storm. After that, we do have another system which will emerge in about 5 days, which could be the 4th named storm. And on top, third named storm. And on top of that, not shown on the map here, we've got low pressure forming over the coastal waters off the Delmarva, and that has a quick window of developing tonight as it passes by south of Cape Cod. So things are about to get extremely active, and here is a look at Kyle, which has now been sheared apart. No longer anything tropical. The remains are over the northern Atlantic. I'm going to show you Josephine here in just a little bit. Give me just a second while that loads. This is, by the way, from Levi's page over at Tropical Tidbits, so give them a visit. Here's Puerto Rico. The leftover circulation of Josephine very much sheared from west to east, and all the thunderstorm activity well east, losing its wind and losing its identity. But if the models do keep a little bit of energy together, it's going to be recurving near Bermuda, and maybe it has a chance of redeveloping into a tropical storm up in here. But again, that's kind of a long shot. Let's look at the rest of the Atlantic. Here's Josephine, and you can see it does not look like it's got much left in the tank. Here's the area I'm watching off the Carolina coast. Low pressure could be forming in this area right now. The Hurricane Center not really doing much with it because it's north of the Gulf Stream, but has a chance of passing by not too far to the south of Cape Cod, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard around 2 in the morning, and then heading off into the North Atlantic. Could get a brush with Nova Scotia. Got a very small chance it gets a name, but something we'll watch. Behind that, we've got our next disturbance here, which very disorganized. It's moving quickly and will be entering the Caribbean here by Tuesday. But we think by Thursday into Friday it slows down and has a much better shot at developing somewhere between Jamaica and Honduras. So that's definitely our next system to keep a close eye on. Behind that, by about 4 days, we've got another wave which just emerged off of the Senegal coast, here the Cabo Verdes Islands. And it's going to be a little while, but we think maybe over in here has a shot at developing as well. And I will show you that as well. You can take a look at it. So here's, I guess, potential storm 2 and potential storm 3 on our list. And right now, nothing too organized. Let's going to see if I could find a map of what's going on over Africa. Yeah, here we go. This is, okay, 1, 2, or actually 2, 3, and this is number 4, believe it or not, over the middle of Africa. Could be something that develops here in about 5 or 6 days when it comes near the coast. Actually, it may take longer than that. It'll be over water, I think, by next Saturday, and then after that has a shot at developing. So you can see those are our areas on the map, 1, 2, and 3, and 4 is not even going to be in the picture yet for at least another week. All right, so let's take a look at the Atlantic, and here are our water temperature departures from average and very warm off the East Coast for the most part, and close to average, maybe a bit below, but everybody is above average, and this is climatologically kind of our warmest time of the year, the next month. So we think there's definitely a lot in place, ingredient-wise, for strong storms to form. This is the MJO, Madden-Julian Oscillation. This kind of shows us where we can have a look at the environment for favorable rising air motion in the blue and purple. And it's in the Pacific now, but give it about 5 days, it'll move into the Caribbean and then into the Central Atlantic here in about a week. So this is a very favorable phase for lots of development and perhaps very much rising air. And we see that as well. The areas in green here at 200 millibars. The next 2 to 3 weeks look to be hyperactive with green across the Atlantic Basin before things could get a little quieter later into the middle and second half of September. So where would anything go? Well, here's a look at the Ensemble Prediction Center system. You can see a region of high pressure here. We've got a trough cutting into the eastern United States. But if you look at that trough, it's actually going to back off to the west and allow high pressure to rebuild into the southwest Atlantic by the middle of the week. And that high pressure, as it builds in towards the Gulf, will take any system and keep it on a more southern track. This, though, could be a magnet for what could be a recurve storm. Not recurve, but a storm that curves to the right and comes up into the Gulf later next week into next weekend. So as we watch this high pressure area building west, we definitely see potentially a magnet for something to come up into the central or eastern Gulf towards next weekend. That's only 7 or 8 days off. High pressure builds to the southwest Atlantic. Here's another weakness, though. So something coming out of Africa could try to find its way up into here, or it could stay on the southern track. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then as we look a little bit further into the future, we see very strong high pressure here, which could keep the next system somewhere into this area in here. So we could have, 1, 2, 3, a succession of 3 storms, which could threaten the United States in the next 10 days. A little soon to say where at this point, but definitely something we're keeping an eye on. I'm going to put this into motion. This, let me reload it for you guys. This is the Ensemble prediction system. All the members of the Ensemble. This is what could be our next storm. Very small chance. Here's the one after it, though, that we're keeping a close eye on for the Gulf of Mexico. Doesn't develop a whole lot until we get to maybe Thursday and Friday morning. Then we're watching this area to see what happens. As there could be a split. It could come this direction, could go this direction, or it could make a right turn into the central Gulf. And at that point, I think it has a great shot at developing. By the way, the one after it could go south of Hispaniola, over it, or north of it. But again, could be a Florida threat, could be another Gulf Coast threat. And then the one after that, coming in farther north, that's something I'm a little more concerned about for the Bahamas and East Coast. By the way, so this is not going to be an issue for us. It's the one after it, which could, if it makes a turn up through Florida, affect the Carolinas. And the one after it, maybe if it comes north of Hispaniola, could be a threat around the very end of August and beginning of September. The one after that, for September, maybe Labor Day time frame, could be a problem for the East Coast. We'll just have to see at this point. There's a lot of uncertainty here. We're seeing 15 different ensembles, and there's still quite a bit of discrepancy. But you can see maybe 2 systems in the Gulf of Mexico in the next 12 days, and maybe something coming up from the Bahamas after that. And this is a look at these potential tracks. You can see what we're concerned about here, some bright colors for maybe a major hurricane to develop. We could have, this could be the first one, the second one maybe in here, and then the one after it back in here. So again, lots to watch for. The Canadian model does show these 3 systems, by the way. I'll back it up and you can see, well, let's not do that because it's going to take a while to load because of Tropical Tidbits being very busy. But here we go, maybe a couple threats to the Gulf, but this could certainly be on this side of Florida as well. This could be over here. We've seen that. And then the one after it back here on the Canadian, of course, looks like it's got more of an issue potentially to be a Carolina storm. So we could be impacted in the Carolinas not once, but maybe twice. And we'll look at the global environmental prediction system. This is kind of the GFS kind of, multiple ensembles of it. And I'll try to get to low, but we're seeing a lot of spread, but a lot of places favoring the south. Yeah, here we go. Next weekend, down here, up in here potentially, down here, and then back here. And then we'll move that forward. And again, we've got to watch the Gulf, got to watch the southeast coast, and we've got to watch back in here. By the way, something behind it. And we'll move that forward to the very end of August. And I'm sorry, this is really slow. But again, anywhere from 1 or 2 storms maybe impacting the southeast and a recurving storm to maybe 3 storms impacting the southeast. So we've got a lot to keep an eye on, that's for certain. This is the another view of what the ensembles show, and quite a few solutions showing a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. So that's something I'm concerned with. Also a threat for maybe coming up through or to the east of Florida, and then maybe around Bermuda, potentially. Another strong storm, perhaps a hurricane. So we've got a lot to watch here, guys. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll keep you posted. Stay safe. Have a great rest of your weekend.